That's what the word will do.
Man.
But now we want to talk about what you need, right? What you need in order, man, to be successful, I say, on your fitness and life journey. Actually, I mean, all you need to do is start, right?
That's the hardest part.
Look, we talk about like keeping it simple. That's the most simple thing I can tell you is to start. And once you get started, I think we've said it in probably most every video that we done dropped, but is to be consistent, right? So we're talking about you need to get in there and start being active. Now, no matter whatever your goals is, everybody has different goals. Everybody's at different levels. But what you need to do is make it consistent. And at the very beginning, is to not overexert yourself, right? You'd have to build up stamina. And I believe we said in the last video, don't go in there and try to hit everything and then you're done, right? Because we want to keep doing this. It's only to those who endure. So we want to start, we want to stay consistent, and we don't want to overexert ourselves until we start learning the fundamentals and the basics and knowing when we can increase.
Now, should I put out like an alert, before this? Because I feel like I might kind of get, some hate and slander on this.
Oh.
But man,
We put a disclaimer.
as far as talking about what you need, all right, yeah, disclaimer, all right, you don't need drugs. You don't need drugs. I repeat, you don't need drugs. Now, ultimately, I'm not saying that like I'm against
Pause. Hold on.
Pause. All right, let me get more serious about this.
Pause.
All right, just because, man, the day and age that we are is
PEDs, that's what we're talking
PEDs, performance enhancement drugs, right? And I've been questioned about that many times. This is what I know you have.
I appreciate it though.
Especially, man, people always asking, number one, what are you using? What are you taking? Or what do you suggest? What should I take? To start out. Everybody feels like, coming in, like there's just a whole bunch of different magic pills and magic formulas. I like the way, what's his name? CT used to say it, that's kind of that wishing well type, mentality that a lot of people have. Like they think there's just some like, boom, if I take this, I'm gonna look like you in 30 days.
Yeah.
And so supplements, again, are called supplements because they're meant to be supplementary to food. So most of the things that you're looking to get from those supplements are derived from foods.
Yes.
Right? So I'm always big on getting it, from the source first, right? I like to get it from the source first, right? Before I go anywhere else, I like to get it from the source first. Again, am I against anywhere else and anything else? I'm not wanting to seem like I'm just hating or talking down on, taking PEDs or anything like that. But as far as it being a need, it's not needed.
Right.
It's not needed. What you need to do, number one, again, keep it simple, stupid. Man, your body needs rest and recovery, right? You had already pointed to the fact of, like, say, making sure you got your plan, making sure that's all laid out, to where it works and fits out with your schedule. After that, man, once you do the work and you're intentional and for real about doing the work, your body needs to recover.
Yeah.
Whatever you do in the gym, you really only grow from recovery. Right?
Yeah.
The gym is the tearing down place. That's the place where we go to look ugly, right? That's the place where you go to make the faces, to sweat, legs and knees shaking the whole nine.
No pretty faces in the gym.
Yeah, no pretty faces in the gym. If you're afraid to look ugly, you ain't never gonna look pretty. The only reason I look this good is because how many ugly faces I done made. Thank you, Jesus. But you don't need a whole bunch of PEDs. All right, I said drugs, but PEDs. That's what I was talking about.
Don't do drugs.
Kids,
Drugs
hey,
is
dare.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm put that on the screen somewhere. We're gonna.
Thanks for cleaning that up.
Hold on, pause. Nah, man, kind of to speak on that as well. Again, back to what we was just talking about. We live in this microwave era, which everybody thinks that, oh yeah, let me just hop on this cycle and I'm gonna look like Jay Cutler in a day. Like, bro, like, you also gotta remember, like you said, how many, like, we see the highlight reel.
Yeah.
We don't see the steps that they put in, man. And it's like, those people didn't get that big just because they woke up one day and started to just a little bit, bro. Like, that's not how that works, man.
Right.
And it's like, again, it's like, especially if you're a beginner, if you cannot consistently, keyword consistent, cannot consistently get yourself to sticking to a routine and sticking discipline, what makes you think you're gonna put, like, that's like putting a Band-Aid on your arm and you ain't got no cut. You ain't gonna help nothing. And it's like you just slapping some stuff on there for no reason. It's like throwing your food in the microwave and not even turning the microwave on.
Yeah.
It's like, what you doing? Another thing, throwing your ramen noodles in that microwave and turning it on with no water in it. You just burning it up. It's like you just throwing stuff into your body that's not gonna be beneficial to your end goal. It's gonna actually hurt you. And I say in a lot of cases, if you don't understand it, it will hurt you very much so. And again, it's like, what are you doing, man? It's consistency, have an understanding of your goal, pursue that goal, and like he said, rest and recover. And I got some stuff to speak on that too. It's like, if you break yourself down, you gotta build yourself up.
Right. It's good.
Let me read again. Let me read again. It says, yet he learned obedience by the things in which he suffered. We suffer, but what did he gain from it? Knowledge. And it's like, he didn't just gain that through just the suffering. He had to fill himself with the nutrition. And where'd that nutrition come from? What's this say on it? The Holy Bible. It's like, same thing. It's like, we will break ourselves down. Simple as this. You got to build yourself back up.
Right.
And it is that simple. Mm-hmm. The hardest part is getting there and doing it. Right.
And like we were saying, you start with the foundation, right? Like we've been saying, and you start with the basics. Even like what he was saying, even like supplements and everything. Me, I'm still not even a big supplement guy.
I don't take nothing.
I know people like to use pre-workouts. I don't even touch pre-workouts. I eat 4 to 5 times a day. I just eat. I do drink a protein shake after my workout, and I still have a meal. But that's it. I don't do pre-workouts. I don't do aminos. Not saying I won't ever. If I go buy it, but man, I don't even be trying to buy it. But or if sometimes he hooks me up with some aminos for free. So, might call me cheap, but I just don't. But I don't need it. Right. You know, I eat, and so first is learning your nutrition, and that's still the basics, right? If you know I eat too much, eat a little less. If you know I don't eat enough, eat a little more. It's sometimes that simple. If you know all I eat is fried foods, well, put some stuff in the oven.
Yeah.
Like, start understanding one, it's realizing where you're at. And sometimes, even though it should be basic, it's not because people don't want to be honest with themselves. So, what you need to do, one, is to be honest with yourself. See where you're at. Look in the mirror. Take an evaluation of self. Okay, here's what I eat. I've been doing it for 30 years. Now it's time for a change. I haven't been active. Let's start being active, right? Have a goal in mind. And then there's so much stuff information out that can help you be successful in what you want and need to do. So start with the basics. Be honest with yourself, see where you're at, and find out how to get to those goals, right? We're going to try to help you best we can get to those goals, but still it takes a self-evaluation and saying, okay, I need to start with the basics. I need to change my diet. I need to be active.
Hey, even all the attachments too, I wanted to touch on that as well. Like I say, not leaving those out. And again, like I said, when I'm saying this, is I'm not talking down or against any of those things, because like I said, I've used some of them, myself, right? And so as far as like wrist wraps, weight, squat belts, wrist wraps, wrist straps, all of that. They all have their place, but before you get to those, you want to build up. Like I say, you want to make sure that particular muscle group is actually, strong, pretty strong already within itself, right? One thing I noticed after, a period of time training with using
Wrist wraps.
with wrist wraps versus without wrist wraps is I could tell the difference, in my forearm strength and in my grip strength, right? So it's always good to, like say again, foundation, foundation, foundation. Make sure you're solid first before you go into all the rest of these assisted, attachments and, these extra things that you add on because I mean, it just don't get no better than the real deal. Again, everything has its place, and it's always better to be safe than be sorry, as you know. All right, so I'm not saying don't use those things, but I'm just saying make sure the foundation is secure first, right? Make sure, like say, you do work on, the those simple things and them small things like getting your forearm strength strong, right? There's several different things you can use for that. There's weightless lower back exercises you could do long before you worry about having to, use a squat belt, knee sleeves and the whole nine. Flexibility is a huge part of that, that's where stretching and all that comes into play. And even just, weightless lunges and different things of that nature. Like I said, there's so many things you can do to actually build up those particular groups and areas before you just go into thinking that you're going to slap something on and magic is going to happen now. Like now I'm stronger and now I'm more secure.
Right.
It's like, man, no, build those muscle groups up first. And then, like I say, as you start to advance and as you start to grow and as you're chasing for more because your hunger is growing, right? Then that's when you kind of bring in the extra stuff, the supplementary stuff.
Man, that's good. Especially the thing that kind of, dude, I keep thinking about the word, man. It just keeps pulling me back to it. And then it's what he said. It's like, if we create our foundation on superficial things, your reality of your situation will never prosper. Because it's like that. It's like if you just started in the gym and you start with wrist wraps, or you start with knee sleeves, and you start with all of this stuff, the areas that you are compensating with those things are going to be weaker. Mm-hmm. So, in the midst of what I'm saying, superficial, I'm talking about the spirit as well. Because if we spiritually have all of these bandages around the areas that are weak points in our lives, what happens when those band-aids go away? What happens when we move through life and something comes up and we don't have that safe word, or we don't have that safe space, or we don't have that person to guide us, or if we fall onto these, or we don't have that substance, that's a huge one. If we don't have these superficial worldly things to guide us, then we always gonna fall short. But it's like, where's your foundation rooted in? If you continue to have that foundation, you're gonna grow, and you're gonna grow in ways that are insurmountable, and you can't even fathom it. And I think that's so beautiful too, because it's like they were kind of saying, it's like, I went through some troubles with my gut health. I had to get my gallbladder removed, so I had to stop taking supplements altogether. Oh, wow. And so obviously through the midst of that, I learned my diet. I had to get diet control, because dude, I was eating. I'm endomorphic, so I just lose weight like no other. It was so hard for me to gain weight at first. So I could put down all the junk food in the world, but through the midst of having stomach problems and not having a gallbladder function the way that it's supposed to, obviously you don't necessarily need it, or they wouldn't have taken it out. But I had to change my whole diet. And through the midst of that, it's like, bro, I feel revitalized. I got energy. It's like I see. I was taking supplements. I was on creatine, protein, amino acid, BCAAs. All this, the supplementation, and I didn't feel near as good because I wasn't, my foundation wasn't there. I wasn't eating healthy. I wasn't eating right. I wasn't doing the little things that I needed to do to grow myself. And through the midst of that, I got a little bit bigger. I gained a little bit of weight, but it was so hard for me to maintain that. And then now, I'm eating cleaner. I have better foods. My supplementation is very low. I don't take no pre-workout. I don't even take protein. I don't take no amino acids anymore, no BCAAs. I take nothing, literally nothing. And I've gained more weight. I feel so much better. And again, that is not to say that these things do not have their purpose, because 110% they do. And I advocate supplementation when it's necessary. Like
Right.
when and when there's a time and there's a place for it, 100%. And I think there's so much growth in taking supplements because that's the thing, they are supplementations to the core that you already have.
Right.
And you have to have that core before you start doing it. Like if you taking multivitamins every single day, but you eating McDonald's for every meal. What do you think that multivitamin gonna do, man?
Hey,
Nothing.
ain't
Like,
nothing like the real thing.
hey,
You
come
know?
on.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's just it. It's like so many times we want this and, oh, this supplement looks good, but you don't have a foundation. And it's like sometimes think about it too. It's like, shoot. It's like we try so many times to like some of these lukewarm Christians. I know people don't like to talk about this all the time, but it's like they'll try and call somebody out on something that they doing, but they haven't pulled the plank out of their eye.
Right.
And it's like, it's the same thing. It's like, how you going to continue to try and move somebody towards something that you don't even have the basis or the foundation of? And it's like, dude, I've caught myself in that, especially at the beginning of my journey. I was like, I'm telling my homie something. I'm like, hey, man, what you doing? Hold on, Remy. Take a minute. Look in the mirror. What did you just say? Open your eyes and reflect. I'm just like, it's the same thing. Same thing with that. It's like, where's the foundation that you're growing on? Don't let these artificial or superficial things think that you need to be bound up to those. And then when they're taken away, you're going to be weaker. That's basically it.
Hey, a pacifier for those who've had babies in the house. A pacifier only suffice for so long.
Come on. No, that's a bar. That's a bar.